And back on the grid, awaiting the start of this 1981 Molson Can-Am. What thoughts are going through a racer's mind right now, Paul?
In Can-Am racing today, there's only room for tactics in two places: when to pit for fuel and how to attack the rolling start at the end of the pace lap. Geoff Brabham on the outside front row will be trying to second-guess Teo Fabi. If he can get a car length lead going into corner one, he may be able to keep Fabi behind him. These cars are awfully wide and passing very tricky. Brabham's most critical moment today will be the start, and he knows it. Al Unser, on the other hand, may be remembering his last race at Mosport, the 1978 Molson Diamond Indy, when a rear lower control arm let go, spinning him into the guardrail at 180 miles per hour. He walked away from this incredible crash, but he was lucky, and he knows it.
Well, I'll tell you, even an old pro like Al Unser would have to be a little intimidated by a spin like that. And as the drivers head out for the pace lap, let's take a quick tour of this Mosport course with a camera mounted on Teo Fabi's march and the commentary from Geoff Brabham.
We just get fourth gear before we go into turn one, and you can really get your teeth into the corner. But it's a fourth gear corner, very fast, and then you get into this small straight up till turn two. You go over this blind corner and that road just drops away from you, and you've really got to make sure you set the car up in the right place on the road and get a good line through here, because you can gain or lose a lot of time here. Turn three is very tricky because it's tight going in and it opens up coming out, so you always feel that you can go into the corner a lot faster than you can really. Change into third gear through this corner, and then we're up to fourth and into fifth gear, coming up to Moss's corner, which is the tightest, down from fifth to second. And really in our Can-Am cars, you've just got to get around here the best way you can, because the cars are very powerful and you're going very slow. So as soon as you hit the throttle, the rear wheels light up. But it's also important because you've got to get a good shot onto the main straight. Nice crisp gear changes, get up to fifth gear, which is top gear, and just go down the straight like fast as you can. The corner at the end of the straight's very difficult. It's very fast. You have to change into fourth gear. Very slippery corner this weekend. And then it's down into third gear into the left and the right hander leading onto the pit straight. So I think every corner on this track is hard. Really gives you no time to relax. It's going to be a real tough race.
The pace lap continues, and the order looks good. Earlier today, Paul talked to Al Unser about that first corner.
With the short distance of this race, and you're in the third grid position right behind your teammate, how critical is that first corner going to be this afternoon?
It's going to be very critical. It's a very narrow racetrack, and the cars are very wide now because of being Can-Am cars. So it's going to be a very, very tight situation down there.
And we have a green flag. The 1981 Can-Am season is underway here at Mosport.
Brian, look at this. Al Unser has made an absolutely brilliant start. He's into second place already. He passed Geoff Brabham going down into corner one. There's a good pack of cars behind him fighting it out for third. Holbert, Sullivan, and Jeff Wood are really close together.
And running down the top five in this opening lap, it is Teo Fabi in the Paul Newman march. His teammate, American Al Unser, running second. The Australian is third. That is Geoff Brabham. In number 4 position is Al Holbert. And running fifth in the Lola 530 is Danny Sullivan.
Fabi into corner 5, the slowest part on the course. He's about ready to charge up the back straight, and he's already pulling away from the rest of the pack. Al Unser there, car number 5, is in second place. He seems to be pretty well by himself as well. Geoff Brabham into third spot. Now the fight for fourth place behind Geoff Brabham. That's Danny Sullivan in car number 4. Lola, he's through without any problems. Jeff Wood is right behind him as Teo Fabi comes into corner 8, a very fast right-hander, hard on the brakes into corner 9. Down the front straightaway, Fabi just foot right in it, pulling away from his teammate Al Unser. Geoff Brabham falling behind in third spot.
And Paul Teo Fabi making his debut here at Mosport today in Can-Am racing, but I tell you, he is no stranger to speed.
Not at all, Brian. He's an ex-motorcycle racer. He drove for the factory Suzuki team, and he's a former World Cup downhill ski racer.
And of course, he had a spectacular week here in the trials for this Can-Am race.
Unbelievable. His track record, no one has ever gone around the track any faster. He's absolutely set the crowd on their feet.
I don't think even Fabi expected to do as well as he has done so far here at Mosport, and of course he'll try and cap it off today by winning this Can-Am.
He's an accomplished Formula 2 racer in Europe. He won the championship, and right now he's running away with this race at Mosport as his teammate Al Unser in car number 5 goes through corner 5 with Geoff Brabham not losing any ground to him at this point. There's Al Holbert in car number 14, the CRC2. He's fighting it out right now with Danny Sullivan in car number 4. Into corner 8, Teo Fabi. He's very close to the curves, but you notice he's not bouncing off them. He's saving his tires. Some of the slower traffic in the back, that's car number 77, driven by Canadian John Graham, and Fabi's trying to put a lap down on him already.
And Fabi has passed him, so Fabi has now lapped number 77, the 2-liter car of Canadian John Graham, as he continues to dominate this Mosport Can-Am in the early going.
Brian, watch Teo Fabi down the hill through turn 2, right on the edge of adhesion. Sterling Moss, one of the true greats in the sport, calls this the toughest turn in North America. What makes this corner so difficult?
Well, it's difficult to explain, but when you come into it, you'll see what I mean. You can see the blind brown. Now, at the moment, you can see it fairly easily because you've got the banks. But when you're coming this direction, there's nothing. You're setting up into a skyline with no feature at all. That's difficult. You have to decide where you want your apex to be, and whichever place it is, it's likely to be wrong. If it's wrong, you're in trouble. The important thing here is to try to get the car in the right place, and when you land, don't sort of turn, because if you do, it's light, and you've got to get the back end, and you're going to spin down here.
So this is the type of corner that takes enough nerve that separates a champion from just a guy in the back of the field?
Well, I like to think it's not nerve. I like to think it's experience that helps you, because nerve, you don't want too much nerve, but equally, this is probably the most difficult corner in North America, actually. Very difficult one.
And this is Graham McRae getting out of the Burt Reynolds Bandit, so bad news for the Reynolds team. The race is over for them after only 6 laps. It looks like they could not sort out those suspension problems that McRae spoke about earlier.
And while Graham McRae heads back to the garage, we get back to Teo Fabi, car number 6 in the lead. His teammate Al Unser is in second place. We see him at the back of this group of cars about to lap Canadian Hosrt Kroll, number 37. Geoff Brabham in car number 3 is still sitting in 3rd spot.
And as we watch Danny Sullivan chase Al Holbert around Moss Corner fighting for 4th place, here's the order. We'll return to Mosport, Ontario after this.
There was an old lady who lived in a shoe, and she loved all her children, so she knew what to do. To stop little hands was her first concern. No, from playing with things that can scald and burn. So she kept out of reach things that get hot, like boxes of matches, and, oh, that boiling pot. To prevent burns, the old lady knew just what to do. Do you? Do you?
QSO offers you a chance to do what you're trained to do. Skills in education, health, business, trades and technology, and agriculture are in demand. There are places for you in the developing world. QSO, the alternative.
Welcome back to Mosport, Ontario, the 1981 Molson Can-Am. The Italian Teo Fabi continues to dominate this race in his Paul Newman March 817. And really, that is no surprise because the Italian Fabi has shattered virtually every track record here at Mosport in practice. Al Unser, the veteran American, his teammate, is holding off Australian Geoff Brabham for second, but Brabham is pressing.
Geoff Brabham making up incredible ground. He's on the inside of Unser here. Al's coming into the pits. Quite unexpected this early in the race to see him pulling in. He's going very slowly. This may not be a routine stop.
And that allows Brabham to shoot past into second. Brabham in second as we watch him through quarter number 1 with Unser now in the pits. And we now really have a battle for 3rd place. It is Holbert holding off Danny Sullivan as they come into Moss Corner. A great fight now for 3rd, Holbert and Sullivan. And right now, let's join Paul with Al Unser, who is through for the day.
Al, it's unfortunate the race for you didn't last too long.
No, it didn't. We had brake problems. Broke a brake line, I guess.
Well, tough luck for veteran American Al Unser. There is his teammate, Teo Fabi, and the other Paul Newman March. So with Unser out of the race now, he says probably a broken brake line. The question is, will Fabi and the other Newman car be able to continue this breakneck pace? There we have Danny Sullivan has slipped by Al Holbert. So let's now meet our new third-place driver, Danny Sullivan.
Danny, you honed your racing skills in Europe in Formula 2 and 3 cars. How different is it for you to be competing in front of a hometown crowd in one of these big beasts?
Well, car-wise, it's quite a bit different because, as you say, they are big beasts and 600-odd horsepower, and you really got to muscle them around. I think at the front, the competition is as intense as it was in Europe, but their depth of field over there is much greater. You would have the first, say, 22 cars covered by 1 second on the grid.
Do the Formula 1 team managers watch Can-Am, do you think?
I think so. They read about it. Obviously, they can't watch it as closely as they can if we were in Europe. But the thing that's good about the Can-Am is the cars are big and they have a similar power-to-weight ratio as a Formula 1 car. So if you can handle one of these, Formula 1's easy as well.
I gather that's your ambition, one day to hit Formula 1.
Yeah, I think it is, and I think it's just about anybody that goes into road racing and wants to do it seriously.
How far off is that for Danny Sullivan?
I don't know. It could be one of those things, you know, you have a good year and somebody decides they like you and away you go. But if there was a known formula or a known way to get into Formula 1, we'd all be doing it.
Well, he is certainly doing it here this afternoon at Mosport in this 1981 Can-Am. Danny Sullivan, the young man from Kentucky, as we see him now, a very strong third in his Lola 530, having passed Al Holbert in the CRC2.
Brian, here comes Al into the pits right now in car number 14. He's got a serious problem. He's going very slowly. It appears that his right rear tire has blown on the rim. It's still attached, but it's gone completely. It's disintegrating. They're going to put in 9 gallons of fuel now, give him an opportunity at least to take care of one of the mandatory stops. Look at that tire. It's smoking. The mechanic can barely touch it. It's so hot. They've got it off. They're losing valuable time now in the pits. Waving at one of his crew members. It could be that Holbert's got a problem over and above that right rear tire. The crew taking their time to put it on. Meanwhile, Danny Sullivan is just charging away from him out on the track.
Remember, we already have Al Unser out of this race. Great concern now, but it looks like Holbert will be able to get back in the race. However, he has lost valuable time to Danny Sullivan. With Unser out, here is his teammate, Italian Teo Fabi, in the Paul Newman March. He continues to lead. He is leading Australian Geoff Brabham now by 26 seconds.
His first time in a Can-Am race, the first time on this track, and he's virtually running away with it. There's Geoff Brabham now back in second place in car number 3, heading into corner number 3. He's a long way behind Fabi.
Fabi continues to lead, but we saw Holbert going into the pits just a few minutes ago. Now, it was not a scheduled stop. He had trouble with the tires, but I think Fabi is due for a pit stop, Paul.
Fabi is due, and so is this man, Geoff Brabham, in car number 3, currently in second place. They both have to make stops. These cars don't hold enough fuel for the entire race, so they have to make 2 stops to take on 9 gallons at a time. Here's Fabi now. He's in the pits. Car number 6, the leader, is in the pit lane. 2 cans go on the car, 1 to put in the fuel, 1 to take any overload. And that's a fast stop. It's only 8 seconds in. He's screaming out of the pit lane. Look at the 2 black streaks of rubber he's left there.
Our leader, Teo Fabi, back on the course, and now here's the second place car, number 3. That's Australian Geoff Brabham. Let's see if he can beat the 8 seconds that was taken, or that were taken by Fabi.
And that's only 7.6 seconds, Brian. 0.4 of a second faster. Look at all the rubber smoke he's left behind. Here comes Jeff Wood in the pits now. He's in 5th spot in car number 1. He's going to take on 9 gallons of gasoline as well. And that's a fast stop. And look at that. Tires spinning all the way.
Danny Sullivan in now. Danny Sullivan from Kentucky running 3rd at this point as he makes his pit stop. And how about that? 3.8 seconds, and Sullivan screams back on the course. The leader, though, through corner 8 is still Teo Fabi in the Paul Newman March.
And he's still pushing as hard as he was at the start of the race, Brian. He's got his foot right down to the floor, down the front straightaway in car number 6. The Paul Newman March is running away with this race.
And a big crowd announced at 70,000, probably the biggest in years, and they love it when the Can-Am show rolls into town.
The Can-Am series is often referred to as a rolling circus. Well, this particular funhouse mirror is on the back of a $200,000 rig. The support trucks for the Can-Am teams have to be veritable rolling machine shops. They spend upwards of 5 months of the year on the road. Therefore, they have to have the capability to completely rebuild the car inside one of these trucks. To do that, they've got a tremendous array of equipment. In addition to carrying the cars, these rolling machine shops have just about everything a mechanic could possibly need. In addition to the spare tires, he's got a drill press, welding equipment, even a generator down here, as well as a metal lathe so that they can practically fabricate any parts they need right here at the track. There's not an inch of space to spare, even on the roof. You'll find replacement wings. On the walls, new skirts and body panels. And in drawers and boxes all over the truck, every part they could possibly need. And of course, spare engines everywhere.
They come from all over, these millionaire racers. Some, though, are forced to compete on a smaller scale.
Of course, there are a number of Canadians in the race this weekend, but for a lot of years, the only can in Can-Am was Hosrt Kroll. How do you keep going against some of the teams that have so much more money to run on?
I'll tell you, Paul, you have to like the sport. And I sure have proven that I like the sport, being in this thing for practically over 15 years. And as long as I feel good and I like it, I will continue. And that's why.
Canadian Hosrt Kroll from Scarborough, Ontario, right now in the number 7 position. Here's the leader, though, car number 6. That is Italian Teo Fabi. And he receives the L5 sign from his crew. That means he will have to take a pit stop in 5 laps. Remember, too, only Fabi, Brabham, Geoff Brabham, the Australian, and Danny Sullivan remain on the same lap. Geoff Brabham is now beginning to close the gap slightly. The number 3 car of Australian Brabham, he is closing on the leader, Fabi. And there is Canadian Hosrt Kroll following Brabham. Brabham's career has taken off in the past year, and Paul tucked with him.
Geoff, a 5th place in the Indianapolis 500 this year. It must have been a great thrill. Is it the highlight of your career so far?
Well, definitely one of them, for sure. Going to Indianapolis for any driver has to be one of the biggest thrills that he can do, and I was very pleased that we managed to finish 5th, and it was a good run for me.
Geoff, your dad won the Grand Prix here in 1967. Does that give you any special thoughts when you pull out onto the track?
Well, I haven't got time to think of anything like that, but, you know, I'm proud of what my father has done, and it'd be nice to add another Brabham to the winners' records here, that's for sure.
And right now, Australian Geoff Brabham is running 2nd to Fabi.
Brian, here's Al Holbert in the pits for his 2nd stop of the day. He's had an unfortunate weekend so far. 2 crashes during practice and a blown tire in the race. The crew putting in 9 gallons of gasoline, and he'll rejoin the race in a poor 5th place position.
Danny Sullivan right now, as we see Holbert come back into the race. Danny Sullivan running smoothly in 3rd spot around Moss Corner. One of the most famous corners in motor racing, and Paul talked to his designer.
Sterling, this corner up here under the bridge is one of the fastest portions of the track, and it leads into one of the slowest areas, a corner, oddly enough, named Moss Corner.
Yeah, well, that's not my fault, but let me tell you how that happened. The point was, when I arrived here, as you say, it's a very interesting corner, because this, again, is another blind one. But when I arrived, I said to them, look, don't make a hairpin. It's a very uninteresting corner. Let's try and make it into 2 corners, which now you've got. You see, you've got one corner here, and you've got to let the car go over to the left. So that then you've got a short straight, although it's taken as one corner in a gradual curve, and then you've got another right angle, which is a bit tighter. And then you start the straight, of course.
How much problem does it present coming up here when it's blind, when you're under braking and you have to turn into a slow corner?
Well, the one thing about it, it's slow. And when you get a slow corner like this, you get people being brave, and therefore they're doing an awful lot of action. You're going to see more action here normally than anywhere else, because people will oversteer. They'll put the brakes on a bit late maybe, and it goes wide. But it should be taken in one gentle curvature with a lot of horsepower. You put a lot of power in, and of course the car does go out wide, and there's sort of, you know, lip on the edge and everything. And it's a pretty interesting corner, actually.
As this 1981 Molson Can-Am draws to a close, we see Jeff Wood running alone in 4th place, and here are the standings.
The crews are preparing for another rash of pit stops. The marshals have their fire extinguishers at the ready, and the crews suited up to do some more refueling. And here comes Teo Fabi. He's in the pits for his final stop of the day. Screaming to a halt in front of his pit, the crew sloshing in 9 more gallons of gasoline, and that will do him for the duration. And he's underway. He stalled the car. Fabi, the leader, has stalled the car. He's stopped at the end of the pit lane. The crew has to push it to get it started. He's finally got it going, and he's screaming back out onto the track.
And Teo Fabi is still the leader, running in 3rd place. Here he is, the number 4 car, Danny Sullivan from Kentucky.
He had a remarkably fast stop earlier in the race. This one doesn't seem to be quite as quick. He's having some problems getting the car into the way. The crew pushing on the wing, and Sullivan is back in the race.
Sullivan running in the number 3 position. Fabi the leader. Here is the 2nd place car. That is number 3, Australian Geoff Brabham.
Geoff Brabham, he's going to have to make a very fast stop if he wants to make up some ground on Fabi. 5.9 seconds, a little bit too long in the pits.
And here is Jeff Wood into the pits. He'll be refueled by the Hosrt team. And Paul, they are the best in the business. They've been known to do it in under 4 seconds. And right now they do it in 3.75 seconds. Great job by that Hosrt team refueling Jeff Wood.
Jeff, for years you ran your own Formula Atlantic team, and now all of a sudden you find yourself in Can-Am as a hired gun. It must be quite a difference.
Well, it is quite a bit of difference. The difference in horsepower is almost 3 times the power as a Formula Atlantic car. It's quite a bit bigger car. It's got fenders, so it's a big change.
Did you find it difficult to adapt, having driven at Mosport in an Atlantic car and now having to do it in something so much bigger?
No, this is basically, yesterday was my first day in a Can-Am car, and so I'm just kind of coming to grips with the car here and also the track, so we should be okay after this afternoon, I think.
And this is it, the last lap in the 1981 Can-Am. The leader, Teo Fabi, in the Paul Newman March. Second is Geoff Brabham from Australia.
Fabi's lead has narrowed to 23 seconds. It could be, Brian, that he's just slowed the pace a little to save the car to the end.
One of 2 cars that started the race for the Paul Newman racing team, Al Unser, the veteran American, a veteran of so many Indy 500s, out of the race earlier. But Teo Fabi, there was some concern whether his car would be able to continue mechanically, but so far he has had no problem.
Well, it should make the owner, Paul Newman, very happy. They haven't won a Can-Am since 1979 when they won the Grand Prix Molson in Trois-Rivières.
All afternoon, his lap times have been consistent, plus or minus no more than 1/5 of a second. That is a mark of a real champion. The number 6 car, Italian Teo Fabi, as he prepares to take the checkered flag in this 1981 Can-Am opener.
There's a checkered flag for Fabi, the first race ever at Mosport, his very first Can-Am, and he comes away a victor.
And second place will go to car number 3. That is Australian Geoff Brabham as he rounds corner 8 for the last time. Second again this year. Now, he gambled by not bringing his new car to Mosport. He figured that the well-tested and developed car from last year would be able to capitalize on the other team's teething problems. He gets the flag for second, but he did not count on Teo Fabi and the new March being so fast. In third is Danny Sullivan from Kentucky, the number 4 car from Louisville. Driving for Garvin Brown as we see him come now round corner 8. He finished third after a good smooth drive and excellent pit work, 19 seconds behind Brabham. Teo Fabi enters victory lane to receive his trophy and a check for $22,000. 3 Canadians in the top 10. Hosrt Kroll from Scarborough, young Mike Freeberg from Toronto, and Roman Peshman from Concord, Ontario.
Teo Fabi displayed the classic qualities of a true champion. On this day, for 60 laps, that magic synthesis between driver and race car was absolutely perfect. Unbeatable right from the start. It was a tour de force, and even his competitors had to applaud. The Mosport Can-Am went very much as predicted. The winner, Teo Fabi, in second place, Geoff Brabham, and third, Danny Sullivan. From the Molson Can-Am at Mosport, I'm Paul Chater. Now back to our studios in Toronto.
Thank you, Paul and Brian. Good race, and we'll have more racing, the British Grand Prix, the highlights coming up in just a few moments.